Do you sometimes look your cat directly in the eyes to show her that you care? If so, you've just sent her a threat signal. In feline communication, a direct stare is a signal of dominance, a precursor to attack. The amygdala, the emotional alarm system in the feline brain, doesn't distinguish between loving intent and genuine threat. It responds to the pattern, to the eyes that don't look away.
This isn't a reproach. It's biology. What looks like affection from a human point of view, the cat's nervous system reads as a single signal: caution. Today, we analyze how feline facial expression is actually encoded and which patterns ethologists use to tell trust from stress. The domestic cat doesn't show what she feels. She masks it. This isn't defiance, it's evolution. For an animal that hunts and is hunted at the same time, visible weakness is a risk. So behavioral science developed a precise tool to read that mask: action units, AU for short. Picture GPS coordinates for facial movements. Every single muscle movement is assigned a number. Through it, researchers worldwide speak the same language. 2 units sit at the center of this analysis. Action Unit 47, the narrowing of the eyes, scientifically eye squinting. When it occurs together with muzzle tension, with no relaxation cycle following, the Feline Grimace Scale treats it as a clinical indicator, a tool veterinarians use when assessing pain. Action Unit 143 is the opposite, the complete blink cycle. Slow, controlled, complete. This signal is not a reflex, it's active communication. 143. The slow blink. Why is it considered a signal of trust? Because it stabilizes the amygdala, the emotional control center that constantly weighs safety against threat. Neurobiologically, a complete blink cycle acts like a message: I see you, I choose not to flee. But there's one signal that should stand out even more. Silence.
When a cat that normally vocalizes falls silent, no meowing, no purring, no sound at all, it can be a sign that the nervous system has shifted into a different mode. Ethologists call this vocal hiding, an instinctive silence under extreme stress or severe pain. Its origin lies in predator avoidance. What makes no sound isn't found. A fixed AU47 pattern, with no looking away, combined with falling silent. In the research literature, this pattern is classified as a warning sign for which veterinary evaluation is recommended.
Behavioral science uses a 3-part analytical model to describe the conditions under which feline communication reliably emerges. It's called the CAT framework, not as a set of instructions, as a framework for observation. C. Choice. Cats regulate the timing and duration of every interaction on their own. Forced contact correlates with a measurable neurological stress response. The amygdala processes a loss of control as a threat signal, regardless of how gentle the touch was. A. Attention, the panniculus reflex, the twitching of the skin along the back. When the skin begins to ripple or the tip of the tail beats rhythmically, this isn't a sign of impatience. It's a measurable signal that approach is tipping over into defense. T. Touch. When cats seek contact themselves after a blink exchange, they almost always choose the facial region: chin, cheeks, forehead. That's where the perioral and temporal scent glands sit. The rubbing, known in ethology as bunting, is the expression of a bonding mark, not a random reflex.
Under what conditions do cats consistently respond with AU143? Research has identified a sequence that shows up again and again in field observations. Body posture first. In feline perception, a person oriented sideways is processed as a non-threat signal. A frontal approach, by contrast, correlates with heightened amygdala activation, regardless of intent or expression. Then the gaze. Brief, not fixing. The feline nervous system classifies a sustained stare as a signal of dominance. Then the blink cycle. Humphrey et al. 2020 documented that 2 to 3 complete close and open cycles, slow and controlled, are the sequence that most consistently produces relaxation responses. Then the wait. Cats left room for a response of their own after the sequence, reply with AU143 markedly more often. The silence after the blink is part of the signal. And finally, the voice. Low, even vocalizations correlate with amygdala deactivation. High, agitated tones, and especially a shushing sound, acoustically close to a feline hiss, trigger measurable stress responses.
To summarize, the slow blink is a neurobiologically measurable mechanism, not a myth, not anthropomorphism, a channel of communication between species documented in behavioral research. At the same time, observing AU patterns is a window into the cat's state of health. Sudden changes in blinking behavior, excessive howling, or a persistent holding of AU, narrowed eyes with muzzle tension, are treated in veterinary medicine as clinical indicators. They can point to chronic pain, to an overactive thyroid, hyperthyroidism, or in older animals to the onset of cognitive dysfunction syndrome, CDS. In such cases, the research literature recommends a veterinary examination. The content presented here reflects the state of scientific observational studies. It does not replace a veterinary diagnosis. For any health concerns, please consult a licensed veterinarian.
The slow blink is not a gesture of submission. It's the most precise statement a cat can make. I trust you. If you want to read the body language of cats at a scientific level, you'll find a new insight here every week. Purrception. Subscribe if you'd like to stay with us.